Hello students, welcome to another lecture on Understanding Biology chapter 29. In this lecture we are going to learn about meristems. At the end of this lecture you should be able to describe the types and function of meristems. Meristems are unspecialized cells that have the potential to become any type of specialized cell. After seed is sprouted, the further development of the plant body depends on the activities of these meristems. Meristems, like I mentioned, are specialized cells found in shoots and root apices, as well as other parts of the plant. Meristems are clumps of small cells with dense cytoplasm and proportionally large nuclei that act as stem cells in animals. When meristematic cell divide, one cell will remain meristematic while the other cell will undergo differentiation and contribute to the plant body. This is a picture of a meristematic cell dividing, continuously renewing the meristemic cells, but also providing differentiated cells to the plant. So this division actually very important. Therefore, extension of both root and shoot take place as a result of repeated cell divisions and elongation of apical meristems, and increase of root and shoot diameter is carried out by lateral meristems. So meristems can be divided into two types. Therefore, we have apical and lateral meristems. And apical meristems give rise to apical meristems are located at the tip of the stems and roots, and they actually give rise to protodome, procambium, and ground meristem. On the other hand, we have lateral meristem that gives rise to cork cambium and vascular cambium. So let's first look into apical meristem. So I mentioned earlier that these apical meristems are located at the tip of the stems and roots, and during the growth, apical meristem continuously divide and add more cells. Tissue derived from apical meristems are called primary tissue. Both root and shoot apical meristems are protected by either root cap or leaf primordia. So in this picture you can see root apical meristem as well as shoot apical meristem. Root apical meristem is covered by the root cap, while shoot apical meristem is actually covered by leaf primordia. These structures actually protect the apical meristem of root and shoot. So I mentioned that apical meristem gives rise to primary meristem or primary tissues, and there are actually three tissue systems that is produced by these apical meristems. They first initiate the primary meristem, and from that they will give rise to these three primary meristems first. These are actually protoderm that gives rise to the form of epidermis, and we have another primary meristem called procambium that produce primary vascular tissue, and we have ground meristem that differentiate into ground tissue. And some plants actually have intercalary meristems that arise in stem internode and add internodal length. So these are all three primary meristems that produced by the apical meristem. And then we have lateral meristem. Many plants with fleshy but not woody stems contain only primary growth, but other plants exhibit secondary growth, and secondary growth is a result by increasing the diameter of the plant. Lateral meristem is actually responsible for this secondary growth. Lateral meristems, peripheral cylinders of meristematic tissues within the stems and roots in gymnosperms and angiosperms. Lateral meristem from ground tissue that derive from the apical meristems. In woody plants, two lateral meristems can be seen. within the bark of a woody stem is the cork cambium, and cork cambium contribute to the outer bark of the tree. Just beneath the bark you can find the vascular cambium, and vascular cambium forms between the xylem and phloem in vascular bundles. This vascular cambium is responsible for adding secondary vascular tissue. In summary, primary growth of a plant is carried out by its apical meristem located at the shoot and the root tip. Apical meristem divide and produce primary tissues, and apical meristem at root and shoot tips are protected by root cap and leaf primordia. Apical meristem give rise to three tissue systems by first initiating primary meristems. These primary meristems are protoderm, procambium, and ground meristem. On the other hand, we have lateral meristems that is responsible for the secondary growth. In woody plants, two lateral meristems can be found. Cork cambium within the bark responsible for the outer bark, and vascular cambium beneath the bark responsible for the secondary vascular tissue. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Until we meet from another, have a good day. Thank you.